Happy 7th of July. But in reality, I'm wishing the happy 4th of July as well. And the whole weekend. I hope it's been a great one for you. Maybe some of you still have Monday off. Maybe you pushed the weekend a little longer. For me, it is the 3rd of July, recording this here on Thursday for you, making sure that we have a show. And I am so grateful to all the support here at Gem Shopping for that. Now, just a couple things I want to make sure you go over. You understand that this show is an 8-year event. Prior to that, this podcast that I've been doing for 8 years, we did the live show here at Gem Shopping Network for 9 years. So as a team, Kim and I, 17 years here. And of course, what we call them the old timers, the ones that have been around for that long and longer, are make up the very special group I have that bring you this show. And I appreciate every one of them. We are going to have a really great show planned for you. And it's, I told them to try to not let me talk as much. Latif says, why not, Shawn? It's one of your best attributes. But on the other side, I think I could probably show a few more items. I'm going to be showing items you haven't seen before, deeply discounted items, because after all, it is a 4th of July sale happening on 7/7. My auspicious numbers, you know how I am about those auspicious lucky numbers, 7s and 8s. Not that I actually ever believe in that, but I just think it's a better selling point than selling something for $79. I'm sure you'd rather pay $77 or $78. That's why they're lucky, because they're cheaper than $79. That's where I come around and got my basis for those auspicious numbers. Mr. Brad has had a lot of other brilliant ideas for pricing strategies, since most everything you see now are items I've collected over the last 54 years of collecting. And I don't know a price, I don't know a cost, I don't know, many times they've come to me in estates in the decades since as well. So it's kind of how I evaluate them. But one thing I do know is they're a better value than really any other environment that you can purchase something like this in. And as someone once wisely said to me, not only do we learn about the item, but we get to purchase it as well. So look forward and watch for some seriously crazy discounted opportunities. Now, the thing I want to stress is whether it's a fine gemstone or a ring, which I've had before, and no matter what, the price I'm selling the item at does not reflect the actual market value. The actual value and what you would expect to pay for the items is a lot greater. So just because I sell an amethyst for $2 a carat or $1 a carat, that should be $20 a carat, doesn't mean that amethyst is worth $1 or $2 a carat. It means it's still worth the 20 a carat. You're just getting, well, you're buying a dime for a penny or a dime for a nickel, or however the percentage of discount works out. What you're going to find in a comment, I'll just paraphrase it because it basically was from Miss Barbara, who had sent in a screenshot of, remember last week, that stunning lepidolite, beautiful purple color, large crystal that I offered at a discounted price from the price I had offered it before, which no one had bought. And I was surprised. And that was only the last time I was going to show it. Then I was going to keep it because there's no way would I offer it for anything less than still the deeply discounted price that I did. She showed me a picture from Mindat, which of course is a wonderful reference source for, it doesn't give pricing, but it gives origin and quality for quality. Or you can also go then to certain sites that are linked to pictures on there, and maybe view the item or find the price that it was for sale. Well, it ended up to be I like 5 times as much as the one that Miss Barbara wisely bought. But it was available to everyone else for only a few dollars more than she got it at the discounted price because no one bought it. So I made it a little less than what it was. It was going to come home. She wisely got it. So it was great to know that a family member got that piece. But again, it was really the equivalent of what I told her when I saw the price of the smaller one, less quality without the neat phantom inner crystal in it. It was $300. And I think the one that I offered, I don't even remember what, $40, $50, something like that. So this crystal would have been easily in the range of $500 piece. She might have paid 50 for it. So that's buying a 50-cent piece for a nickel. So the deals, I've been offering a lot of great deals. Take advantage of them. So that said, the number on your screen, 24/7. So again, this show is part of the 27-year historical gem shopping network because we were the first network, our founder, to put gems on television. And then we went 24/7 a long time ago. And I've been here for a total of 17 years. This podcast, 8 years. So please like and subscribe. I want to continue to grow with all of you. But also, please do support the show, buy the items that you love, and you're going to see some amazing pieces discounted today. So pay attention to them. We have a large number of viewers, but we need to turn some of those viewers, more of the viewers, into buyers. And just recognize the opportunity you're getting and the actual value, especially today. All right, let's get to the comments. We only have a couple of them because we're not doing trivia right now, and we'll pick it up at some other point or do What Am I's at some point. But today being a what I'm going to call a holiday show and a good time for a sale. All right, we have from Miss Barbara in Brooklyn. Speaking of, hi, Professor Shawn, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. At last, the Galena geode story. And if you want to know what she's referring to, watch last week's show, because if you have never, if you don't think that someone with a vast amount of knowledge can't be fooled by someone that has a greater amount of knowledge into creating deceptive products, watch me tell the story on myself. And you'll find humor in it. You'll find surprise in it. And it is a lesson I tell on myself all the time so that I never think, well, it's a humbling story for me and keeps me that way and keeps me always learning more. All right. So at last, the Galena geode story. I have to admit that geode looks pretty darn good. It certainly is humbling and a great cautionary tale. Buyer beware, indeed. And by the way, everyone, there's no such thing as a Galena geode. But they were, it was, quit laughing, Latif. Every time, he's going to laugh every time. I just know it. The Galena geode story, I even knew all those years, I had never heard of anything, but they were done so magnificently it would have fooled any of you. Especially with the little stalks on the toothpicks. That was a real fooler. It's like, oh, how could they do that? And so inexpensively, using one of the most inexpensive products there is a toothpick and Elmer's glue. And that's why with hot water, they all wash down into the sink. Oh, yeah. Cautionary tale indeed. All right. You finally sold me on the N52 neodymium magnet. I just have to keep it away from my laptop, hard drive, and my pacemaker. No accidentally putting it in my breast pocket over my heart. Ouch. Yes. No. Huh. That is one thing that the N52 neodymium magnets can affect is your pacemaker. But believe it or not, and I tried this, it does not affect cell phones. They actually, and I'll just tell you where the best place is to get your neodymium magnets. I just ordered a whole bunch more of them, and K&J Magnetics. Just look it up, K&J Magnetics. And the N52 is the number officially designated as the one that is used. I use the 1/2-inch N52 cylinder, is the one that is officially used for grading magnetic susceptibility in different minerals or gemstones. Extremely useful. And so is the site, because with that powerful of a magnet, it is so interesting, all the creative things that you can do with it. And so with the newsletter, it comes out and they tell you these different things, but they also show you how to create a magnetic smartphone holder for your phone. And they said, no, there is no, but don't take my word on it. Do your own research, that it doesn't affect your cell phone, which would be hard to imagine for me, but I at least put it on and it didn't seem to have any effect. But that's my personal experience, and it could be, a solar flare or something causing it to have worked at the moment. But yeah, K&J Magnetics, that's the place. And just buyer beware. These neodymium magnets, and read the cautionary labels that come with them, because they have magnets that will crush your arm if you get them caught, like your arm caught between two of them. Yep. Of course, little kids eating the small ones in your intestine, they'll combine together if they eat two of them, and therefore causing horrible problems there as well. So, yeah, it's such a powerful magnet. Now, neodymium itself is an amazing element. I love it, being a chemistry and element nut. Its magnetic strength is just, well, fun to play with if you do it carefully. Plus, remember, there's people that go what they call magnet mining. They actually take these magnets and they attach them to, whether it be a pole, they'll drag them like an anchor through waters. Like in Europe is a big thing, because iron swords, the Iron Age. So many different things they can find there. Now, in the United States, not so much, because by the time the United States or anything was formed here, we were past that age. But Europe goes way back for history to where you can find good iron stuff. But I could run them through the river and pull up a whole bunch of black sand, a whole bunch of black sand. Yeah, there's a lot of fun things. Okay, so, and okay, so I got a whole bunch of these neodymium magnets. It was $60 total for all these different sizes. They're not expensive, and they come clad in another metal, so that it makes them safer and easier to kind of separate sometimes. So, but mine's pretty beat up. You'll see it next time. I'll show you, because they tend to clang together and some of that plating chip off. Okay, I said I wasn't going to talk much, and tough to do. Okay, the chocolate Ethiopian opals did not have a crazing issue, but I find did have a crazing issue. But I find some wellow how the problem is slowly changing from crystal towards shades of yellow. Since some are found as honey colored and others in gray, are they reverting? Yeah, I'm not sure on the long-term property of how that works, or if it has anything to do with the exact chemical makeup of water. But if they are, if they don't revert back to its original base color, then that becomes a bigger issue with them. If they are just hydrophane, and some are really, dry out and really fast, to where it's so dry it'll like stick to your tongue, like some of the Mexican opals will do. Others, it's a slower process, and different ones will absorb and dissipate different percentages of water. I've had many upwards of 10% by weight, which is a lot. So that to me still wouldn't be a big of a problem as crazing. When an opal crazes, it really is very distracting and unattractive. And I've seen many opals huge, gorgeous black opals that must have been just crushing to the mine owners when they would first find them. And the problem is, and I've been down out in Lightning Ridge, I've been down in the mines, I've run the machinery and see the material brought up. They rush it to market. In other words, they really should mine it and let it sit out in the Australian sun for a year. You know, let it just sit out, and that way, any opals that would tend to craze will have done so, or at least the biggest percentage of them. When they get them up out of the moist ground, and then they see a beautiful black, banded, all this gorgeous color, they quickly cut them, and then they'll quickly sell them. Problem is, many of them, though, will craze. Unfortunately, it's been heartbreaking. And a lot of different opal dealers would have to give a guarantee of like a year. And our opal dealer would give a guarantee on his opals of not crazing for a year. And that's it. I mean, that's it. Because, opals can craze because they're made up of a percentage of water to some extent. Now, a good opal, good black opal, often is stable, but you do get those that aren't. The older an opal is, like estate opals, you actually want to buy an older black opal. One recently mined, I mean, too bad they don't come with a mining date, because in opals it would actually matter. The older opals in an estate ring, if it hasn't crazed by whenever time you get it, it's not going to. So most opals will craze within the first year, and then smaller percentages, and then once it makes it past like 5 years, you're probably pretty safe in that case. But that's the problem. They need the money. They rush the opal to market, or they try to rush the opal to market before it crazes and don't give a guarantee. They don't tell the buyer down the path how long it's been out of the ground. So yeah, lots. There's been a lot of ethical issues brought up by the Lightning Ridge Mining Association and the Australian Miners Association on trying to figure that out, where exactly that lies and the liability. I mean, because you can pay a lot of money for a black opal, and then it crazes, and it loses value. There's no two ways about it. Okay, then Miss Barber goes on to say, after the lepidolite, hope you like the online photo, which I just talked about, I decided to get the cat's eye opal for a friend and the parcel of diamonds to have as replacements. My friends keep giving me their costume jewelry to fill in missing stones with Swarovski chateaux. So I figure I'll save them money if they need diamonds done by a jeweler. Yes, you'll save them a lot of money. Good job on getting that parcel, especially at that pricing opportunity. That's it from the Baked Apple. We all are baking. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Hello, Rock Family. Wonderful show, Shawn. I absolutely adore all of the optical property specimens this week. Miss Penny, you made my day in your description of the color balance on the show. Glad I wasn't drinking anything, as it would have been coming out my nose. LOL. The color is much better now. You spoke of catastrophic industrial events and silicosis. I am currently reading a fascinating book called Murderland. The author explores the huge smelting plants of Washington state and the effects of the toxins on the population relating to the abundance of serial killers in the same time period. The levels of lead and arsenic found in people, air, and soil was beyond shocking. The corruption and greed of the owners never ceases to amaze and disgust. As Murderland indelibly maps, and that's interesting if there would be any association, maps lives and careers of Bundy and his infamous peers in mayhem, the Green River Killer, the I-5 Killer, the Night Stalker, the Hillside Strangler, even Charles Manson. Fraser's Northwestern death trip begins to uncover a deeper mystery and an overlapping pattern of environmental destruction. At ground zero in Ted Bundy's Tacoma stood one of the most poisonous lead, copper, and arsenic smelters in the world, but was hardly unique in the West. Yeah, I could tell you all kinds of stories. I also, in hiking the back country of Colorado, let's say you were just desperate for water. and you came upon a little seep. Well, if you don't know how to recognize um, toxic water, then you're going to be in for not a fun ride if you take part in drinking that water, because of the number of mines and the associated different ores. And it's nothing really back in the 1800s that you can't necessarily blame it on mining. The science necessarily wasn't really all there for them to just know how toxic the spoils were from the mine. Everything that they mine around the quartz vein, that kind of thing, and a lot of the surrounding water uh, becomes quite toxic with the with lead and the other mentioned um, unseen killers. Um, One of the most poisonous lead, copper, and arsenic smelters in the world. It was hardly unique in the West. As Fraser's investigation inexorably proceeds, evidence mounts that the plumes of these smelters not only sickened and blighted millions of lives, but also warped young minds, including some of who grew up to become serial killers. Well, we all know what lead can do, right? So why not arsenic and all the others? When I met my husband, he worked in a foundry running a ladle pouring iron and would literally be coated in black after a day in the place. He had iron explode and run down his legs, causing third-degree burns before I met him. I was very happy when he got out of there. Happy 4th of July all. Till next Monday. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Wow. I see pictures of them pouring the molten metal out of in those foundries. And I mean, that's fascinating to me. But I know how dangerous that can be from simply pouring one. You only do this one time, and I was, like young, like late teens. The first time I had pulled molten gold into a metal frame, into a frame that's made for molten gold to be poured into, right? Well, the first thing you're supposed to do is you heat that metal mold, that frame that's adjustable depending on the size ingot you want to pour. You heat it up really hot. And then at the same time, you're melting your crucible full of your molten gold. And then when both are at the right temperature and your frame is very, very hot, you can pour a perfect ingot. My first experience was lacking the part where you preheat the metal frame. When that molten gold hit that cold metal frame, it blew back like a volcano. And I had little tiny droplets of molten gold hit the top of my head. And there's nothing I could do. I could feel them burn right through the surface, through the layers of skin, and must have been stopped at the scalp. And, it hurt. The other drops hit around me. I had a lot of different gold to collect that blew up everywhere. And um, yeah, that's what you get for not when you try to do something without having anyone having shown you how to do something before, or taught something as simple as heating the frame. Normally, you wouldn't give much thought to that, right? You can pour boiling water into any kind of frame. It doesn't blow back, right? Well, why not some, molten 1900-degree gold, right? So yeah, like I said, you only do that once. And to this day, every time I pour molten metal into a frame, I think of that moment and I double heat that frame up. That frame, I'm surprised I don't melt the frame. I make sure it is really hot. And you do that, you're actually supposed to oil the frame, which you do. And then when the oil starts smoking, uh, it's a sign that it's approaching temperature. Okay, so I am glad your husband turned out and got out of that job, but wow, that would have been a hot job. It would have been interesting to see from hmm, a metalsmithing perspective, but That's a dangerous job. So, okay, so that's it. We're going to get straight to the show, and I have a wonderful first item to start out on. And this is one sale price now. Item 1243. And we're going to take a look at an amazing, beautiful specimen. And I cannot believe that this has not found a home. So look at this. Okay, so you can see the size of my head. And like I said, I'm going to try to keep my conversation down because you have seen these. We've talked about this. Grossular garnet, and you can call look at the colors of these, not to be confused with spessartine, which these very much look like a spessartine, but these are grossulars, and then you have dioxide crystals as well. Look at that. This is a fantastic, classic Jeffrey mine specimen, and I'll tell you what, the Jeffrey mine is in Quebec a very prolific producer of fantastic specimens. So this piece, if you collect garnets, or even if you don't, if you like Canadian specimens, Jeffrey mine well known for its outstanding pieces. So this one deserving the price I asked for it, but certainly worthy of what it is going to be now, which is, oh yeah, I'm doing crazy stuff. $38. $38. The only way this is going to work if I sell a lot of items. Let's do item 124, 33.25. 124, 33.25. Let me get my computer one move here. And look at this next one. So let's do it. Wait, no. All right. Look at this. This is really a very aesthetically attractive piece with those kyanite crystals intersecting each other, intersecting the quartz, the mica. Look at that. You know, kyanite, look how beautifully the many different angles that can be displayed. Kyanite, polymorph sillimanite, and in the lucite, it also fluoresces a wonderful red, which is a really neat property in itself as well. Look at that. This one, what? Work on make this one a really good deal because this crystal, look at the clarity to it. This decided to, what do they call it? Have an unplanned disassembly. Is that what they call it when the rockets blow up? I always think that that's the names they come up with, their mistakes, kind of funny. This is an unplanned disassembly of this crystal off of this, but I tell you what, it really actually gives you a second specimen because this can be now really made into beautiful pieces of jewelry. And I actually do not have a individual kyanite crystal of that clarity. Look at that. So anyway, how about this? It's going to be such a deal. You won't find it. You won't find it, but I know it's $9. I told you we're going to do some special deals today, and that is certainly representative of one of them. And yeah, could you put, just so Christy will know, with loose crystal? Yeah, just with loose crystal. Yeah. Really neat piece, though. Really neat. With its unplanned disassembly, it gives you another whole aspect of use for it. All right, now, next I have item 126 8325. 126 8325. And I know there's several of you out there that love to collect, as I do, azurite, malachite, and the copper minerals, including chrysocolla. Look at this piece. This is a really attractive, very bright, lively, microcrystalline item. Yeah, at least that. Yeah. And you have the multi generations of growth here, and you can see that through the different banding of the chrysocolla. You have the wonderful druzy malachite, and then look at that. You can see it. Look at the beautiful banding, and then it wraps all the way around there. So this would have been attached along here, even though there is some more chrysocolla there as well, because you have that on 3 sides of that material. That's just a really attractive piece. And I have this for $12. That's what I said. We are doing some. That's why, you know, you need to just keep adding things to your list, and then get them all sent to you at one time. Now, sticking with that copper theme, 125 6425, 125 6425. Look at this. This has been this. I can't believe I still have this. This is, out of everything, one of my favorite chrysocolla specimens. This is multi-generational growth, and wait till you see, and I just featured this the other week, and we talked about this, but I have this at a discounted opportunity. You see these, yeah, look at all these other little tiny botryoidal growths of chrysocolla on top. Look at the botryoidal formation of this. And then you can see you get this really wet look chrysocolla that is a really nice, beautiful, high quality and color. And then over here, look at this back in this little pocket. Again, multi-layers, multi-generations of growth. And look at how rich that chrysocolla is. Along with malachite, banding of malachite, and then more chrysocolla, and then the final one are those little colors there. Look at this. It looks like it's got chicken pox or something, but a beautiful little bug in there. And yeah, look at the color. Look at the color. That captures it perfectly. And then look at this side to it. I'm telling you, look at the wet look of the chrysocolla here. I mean, that looks absolutely wet, but it's not. Look at that. This is, I know I saw that some of you had bought some of those other copper specimens. This one you definitely have to add. Look at the multi-layers of growth in this. This is a stunning, stunning piece from the Katanga Copper Crescent area of the Congo, which the Congo, you might have heard in the news this past week, extremely, extremely rich country of full of mineral wealth. And too bad a lot of conflict goes on in that country for that reason. And so this has a new excellent discounted opportunity of only $77. Yep, only $77. I know, Latif. It should be. Oh, and here, I'll add the parsley on the plate, which is the label. Look at that. You get the label with it, the parsley on the plate with it. A wonderful piece. Now, sticking with, I don't know. should I stick with that theme or so many choices. So many choices. But let's do a little something different. Item 126 7925. 126 7925. It seems a lot of you actually do realize and recognize the value to moonstone as of late, and you should. You should. This material is rightfully going up in price and has gone way up, way up. And the desirability, a lot of people are familiar with it. These bought long ago, and they are moonstones. Look at that. Look at that quality. This is really good quality. Bought a long time ago, and you can't touch this material. I saw it $15-20 a carat, and that was at my inexpensive place that I use for what the market pricing, the bottom end of the market pricing on items like that is. And I was kind of surprised. So when these didn't sell at the price of only $3 a carat I put on them, I was kind of surprised at that. All right, how about this? One more opportunity before they just go back home. We're going to make them only $2 a carat, making these only $44 for both. $44 for both. And you saw how intense and rich the color of those are. And like I said, the amount of material being produced in the high quality goods. You know, there's even some nice material in New Mexico, but a lot of people are regretting how inexpensively they sold their moonstone for not too many years ago, because you can't get it for those kind of prices anymore. So these yeah, look at that. Look how rich that blue is, and the translucency to them as well. Look at that. Great stuff. $44 for the pair. Now, this next item is probably going to be the last chance you're going to get to see this, because this is, of course, part of my birthstone collection. It's item 1257825. 1257825. And I thought I'd offer it one more time at a discount. And if you have not priced this material lately, then you're missing out. I'm even going to throw in some stands today, by the way, folks. Yep, my cheap self is going to splurge, and this is going to be one of them. All right, this is an amazing piece, whether it's in a stand or just freely displayed. All right, those are your mandarin garnets, your spessartine mandarin garnets, which is a manganese garnet. And then here is what is super special. It's double-sided. Double-sided. So except for a little bit of the rim, the edge, where it would have been connected to a, the wall or another matrix piece, it's all garnet. And it is that really bright, beautiful color that is so desirable. And, even on this little upper edge here, as it faces forward, and down here, you see garnet. Look at that. There's garnet all the way around on that. This is amazing. And yeah, exactly. It is a wow. And it's one of the last, not few, couple pieces I have left of this at all. I bought a large flat of it decade ago, and I have sold everything off, and I've sold it off way below the market price this. And then you're going to come back and realize just how inexpensive I have been offering this for. It is an incredible opportunity. So it was named after its locality, which was the Spessart Mountains in Germany, Bavarian part of Germany, and that's where it's got its name. It's Mn2 plus valent, so it is the manganese aluminum silicate garnet. And your price on this now, which is, it's not going to be any less than this, and this is the last time I am offering it, period. After that, it goes back home. It's $148. And I ask you to look up and try to find something this size, double-sided, of this quality, for anything close to that. In an auction, this piece would run up into the hundreds of dollars, 300, 400, 500 or more, especially being double-sided. Only 148. There is a chance of a lifetime right there. Now, I have next item 126 6825. 126 6825. And the other two, if you remembered, and that's how they can be gone, if you remember the other two, and I know that Latif will, because we all talked about what kind of animal it looked like, and one was a dragon, because it had two of these calcite crystals that were like, yeah, remember that? Yeah, did I remember? Yeah, 126 6825. If let's see, 126. Yep, okay. And so the other two were sold. This is the last one I have. And the neat thing about this, and I just checked it again just because I enjoy yeah, that's it. Optical properties. This fluoresces beautifully red. The calcite crystal, a wonderful red. And so I have and if you don't have one of these, it might be tough for you to find them, but they're really neat. The laser, the 5 megawatt little lasers. Let me see. I'm zapping it. Yeah, see, still can't get the red on that. But did you see a little bit on it? Because to my human eye, I can see it. It's just crazy how it doesn't always pick up depending on the lights we use. So, but it's there. Red fluorescence. This is really neat. Look at that calcite. And then look at all the little drusies on it. And the only one I have left. This is some wonderful amethyst. And look at that, showing some of the chevron type of banding. And a neat piece, especially since I look at that, you can see where another crystal laid in against there. And I really like the, look at that, the little extra by that. Okay, so here we go. So I was just reading a little bit more. Oh, yeah. The other thing that was interesting about this is that the piece has cristobalite. So what you're seeing in the clear quartz that is formed on the calcite is cristobalite, which we have talked about before. Cristobalite is also the form of quartz that forms that pattern in snowflake obsidian and other places you'll find that different crystal system of quartz that they call cristobalite. So that's just an extra little bonus there. So one is trigonal and the other is tetragonal. And it's neat actually to be able to look and see the difference between the two. Price on this, I am discounting it to only, you should love it. And if whoever got the other two, if you want to add a third one, you can do it inexpensively for only $16. $16 on that one. All right, now, here we go. That might be something to wrap it. All right, next. I have the item number 126 5925. 126 5925. And so this is quartz, right? We're tying in with another piece of quartz. This is some incredibly beautiful. They call this so many different types because of the forms. They call it stalactite quartz, or spaghetti quartz. You can see all the different names it might generate, but it is really unique with the doubly terminated stilbite intersecting it. Look at the stilbite up here that is intersecting it as well. Look at the terminations of those. You can see that where the very center of them, it looks like it actually grew around. Yeah, another mineral. Look at that beautiful peach stilbite. This is, and look at those, just aesthetically really attractive. And this is out of the ones we had gotten. This is one of our favorites. Let me see. It almost wants to stay on its own. It may do it on. Oh, it just wants to stay. Almost, but just with a little bit of the goop. And, you can. That's an animal. There's an animal in there somewhere. Must be. I have a price on this. That if you love unique, this is one you might have a $2,000 specimen, and this one next to it. And you know what? A lot of people are going to actually point to this one over your expensive specimen because look at how unique and different it is. It's been one of our favorites. So have this now priced well below what it should be, but take advantage because that's what I'm doing this show. Opportunities, $38 on that. $38. And if it doesn't sell at that price, then of course, that one comes home. That's where I got it from the home collection. Now, sticking with a stilbite, let me show you another favorite that I was really surprised no one claimed this one for themselves. It is item 119 1724. 119 1724. Another stilbite. Imagine that. So remember that years ago when I got that big shipment of stilbites in, that is some of these that are left over now. These were ones that we personally kept. So for our personal collection, for over a decade. So I'm finally turning loose a few of these, and that's why these are some really nice quality pieces. This is a cabinet quality cream Indian stilbite. You can see the really neat stilbites can have a bow effect to them and a bow tie effect, and you can see that in that crystal. Then look at this one. This is a beautiful form. Hey there, Chuck. And then you have it on another bed of stilbites. So you can see the different habits or the different forms that stilbite can be found in. And then you see selenite listed. You're wondering, well, selenite, I thought it was green. Yes, it very much so is, and here it is. So the green selenite, which is actually belongs to the mica family, and so you have that on the back, kind of very interesting pattern. But the money shot is right here in this grouping, this very well defined and aesthetically attractive crystal grouping of still bites in 3 different forms in one specimen. That's pretty cool. And at the discounted opportunity I'm doing, which is significant, almost halving the price that it should. Well, it should be in an auction. That'd be go for a couple $100 because of the at least. But here right now, $48. $48. That is indeed a still bite. You know, I tell you what. Hold on. Yes. You're so funny. Oh, hold on. I'm thinking. let me just give one moment here. Okay, you win this one. $48 it is. I was looking at another item and thought I had a little more room, but I should always trust Latif when you know, yeah. When you don't know, just go with what Latif says. Here, you're gonna hate me, but find that what goes in that, because it's such a good protective bag. And here's a bunch more. I have the lovely Miss Raven next to me doing her fantastic job of cleaning up my messes that I create. Okay, look at this. This was another surpriser. Item 126 6625. 126 6625. Look at this. How can you have passed this beauty up? Now, this piece, and hold on a second. This might be a little crinkly, but let me try this. Yes, this is what I needed, a white background. So you could especially see not only the ruby jack sphalerite, in other words, the red tinted sphalerite, but you have in this chalcopyrite with what they call reaction halos. It is a unique formation that creates these spots of color, and they form around a little tiny dot of chalcopyrite, and they're called reaction halos. So it's really neat. There's only a couple few mines that they are found in, and the Elmwood, the world-renowned Elmwood mine in Tennessee, is one of them. This also, you can see that Elmwood is known for yellow and the purple in the fluorites. Fluorites are so popular. They always are a big hit in auctions, and when I see them in pricing, I'm kind of shocked at how much they they actually go for. And you know, things are worth what people are willing to pay for them. And so when I see what people are willing to pay for them in auctions, I'm thinking, well, why aren't they buying mine, which are a fraction of it? So here is another one that you need to. I'm going to give you a second chance at. I'm going to even discount the price when I shouldn't. Give you the time. You can go look it up in Mindat. Find other ones that might be for sale elsewhere, and then you will really appreciate it. And have you noticed this is a calcite crystal that is an addition to, extending out from the fluorite? Isn't that cool? That has got to be really cool. Adds a lot of aesthetic value, mineral value, collector value, because you have the 3 primaries: sphalerite, fluorite, and calcite, all in one with the reaction halos. There we go. Right there. And for those of you that gambled on it being available at a lower price, because that's what I try to do. If I show it again, I try to show it lower than the price until it gets to a price that is ridiculously silly. Then we can't do that. But I will make this less than what it was. And I wish I could do auctions. I wish we could do auctions in this show. I've tried to figure that out many times. It would be cool. It would be cool. And for both sides. And I would love to sell some things just really inexpensively if that's what they went for. I think the market would benefit both sides of us. So yeah, it would be cool. Price on this one. This is what's going to be ridiculous. When I put this next price on it, I know then next time if it's not sold that for whatever reason it needs to come back home. $48. $48. I know. Compared to the actual what real value on that would be in any other market. But I said I was doing some special things today, and that definitely says that. Item 116-9124. 116-9124. Now, besides having a very cool wooden stand, this is a piece that let's see here. How about probably the white? Yeah. Yeah, that works. I need to get a newer white piece of paper, but I think I have one down there. All right, look at this. Even a wooden stand, because I thought that this was so attractive just the way it was. This is a high quality piece of lapis rough. It's world class piece. From the color, let me just show you. So, look at that. I know. Could you imagine carving that? And hey, by the way, Chuck, this is soft material. This is the other carving material that would work really well for you, is to carve in lapis. Oh, thank you. There's my nice uncrinkled piece of paper. All right, look at that rich, rich blue. That is the good stuff with very little pyrite. I like a little pyrite, but that's very clean pyrite. You have this. Okay, do you see this even thickness? This is natural. When you see the white on the top, let's see the white on the bottom, and you see how perfectly parallel the top and bottom are. This is how much lapis is formed. It is in a seam between other rock, and this was just broken out of the seam, and this happened to be a really high quality piece in the seam. You often get other calcites along in here, but this is super high quality here. This piece could be sliced up, slabbed up, carved up, or left like I have it in just a wonderful natural piece as it is. You can spray it with some of that, an enamel spray or something to give it a wet look. But look how large that is. That is a really high quality piece. Oh, I like that even better. All right. So, price on this one, I have to look because I don't even. Am I gonna? Do we know the price? Are you gonna tell me the truth, Lateef? How much this was? let me let me see. I'll have to use. I have to use my spidey senses then. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Final opportunity on it. $98.
What?
I know. For the entire $98. I know. You should have made up a bigger number. $98. Don't worry. No one will buy it. They haven't bought it before. They won't buy it.
Let's see. Drop a little bit more. A little bit more. Let's see. What can you do? A little bit better.
Okay, better? You want better?
A little bit.
$88. $88. Here we go. Look at that. Look at the size of that. Really fantastic quality. You could cut it up with a saw into multiple pieces. $88. But not concerned. No one's going to end up buying it. Watch. They won't buy it. They won't buy it. You know? Okay. With that, I'm going to clean up the paper, bad paper underneath. We'll be right back in a minute. One of the Pakistani four. Those four amazing different specimens that I had gotten lots of. In one case, it was the entire year's mining of at around 10,000 feet is where it occurs. And then you have 2 to 3 months of mining season. And so you can get lucky and they can, live out the year with the proceeds. Or if you don't do well, then, you're going to have a cold, long walk back to the family that's going to go hungry. But at least it's artisanal mining. These items are done not by big companies, just like the Belkis Mountain Iranian demantoids. You know, whatever effort the little individual climbing the mountain and coming after the zircons, the garnets, the triplites, it's money in his pocket. What he sells it for, it's going to benefit him. He knows what he'll get. At least there's that, which is good. In other words, the resources of the country are going to the people, even if they get a fraction of what the end value is. But I don't know how much they could get, because what I paid for these things, I think I got a wonderful, wonderful deal in the end, and I'm taking them straight to you. But I got them from the Pakistani dealer who actually told Asif and I, and they're genuine when they do this, and he offered for us to come, and he'd take us up actually to the mine. And of course, he expects you to buy some things, but heck, that'd be no problem, because I would be wanting to buy the items anyway. So of course, political conditions in Pakistan haven't been that kind of situation where you'd want to do that, but it was neat for the offer, and it was genuine. So it also told me that the pricing is extremely fair. They're not going to take you right to the mine if they're, pulling out incredible goods and they're selling you junk. It would have been really neat. I'd love to have seen that. So here is a chance at an incredible, beautiful, look at this zircon. And these have wonderful yellow fluorescence in them. And, there's no telling what else you'll find in the specimen, because that's always a risk. Do you stop here? You can actually prepare these and remove and peel back more of the matrix around it and expose more of the crystal if you've got the little Dremel tool to do it. I can see that there is absolutely opportunity for that one. And that one has that really rich, rich color. Yeah, for this material. And so then you see other portions of little crystals everywhere in this. And you wonder what's on the inside. I always do. But, you got to stop at some point, or else you'll end up with a bag of crumbs. And so here's a fantastic piece. If you do not have one of these specimens, which was, remember, it was the pink apatite, the red zircon, the incredible sphenes, and the triplite. I got through all four. And you need to have one representative specimen of each of those. Price on this one now you will be able to afford, because I am making it half of what it was. And right now, only $44. $44. Look at my thumb. Look at how big that crystal is. And then just how rich that red is. Let's follow me here for a moment, and bring it in, and just look at the saturation of the red to that. There we go. There we go. Now look at the clarity to that. Huh? That's gemmy. That is a really gemmy crystal. And at that price, it would actually be worthwhile if you had a Dremel tool to actually try to remove that crystal by itself, and just have a loose crystal like that. That, I can tell you, that would be very rare to have, because crystals from that locality are most commonly found in matrix, whereas other localities, they're most commonly found loose. So to extract one and would be fun to do, and I think rewarding. Let's look at item number 1249 225. 1249 225. This is another I am going to include a stand with. And believe it or not, look at this. Another surprise or shocker in a rhodochrosite. And you get to stand with it. So I'm going all out. You can see where someone's already cut a piece out of this incredible high quality cabochon material. I like this particular piece because I call it an end cut. It's actually the outside piece of a piece of rough. You see the wonderful banding in it. And it's plenty thick enough that you can still cut great cabochons with it the way it is, or you can look at that. Just leave it like it is and put another spray of fake spray polish on it to brighten it up a little bit. It almost looks like a fish, doesn't it? Yeah. There's a triggerfish. You know, those, you ever see those huge triggerfish in the ocean? They look like that. They have funny tails and then just one fin on the top, and they have a mouth very much like that because they eat sea urchins. I, I don't know how I know that growing up in Florida, maybe. But anyway, wonderful banding, wonderful quality, big discount on this. I don't have, I think, any other than this one now. And how about this? Rhodochrosite of this kind of quality, the Argentinian material has gotten really expensive, as have all rhodochrosites. Indeed, $38. $38 only on that one now. Great opportunity. Okay. Now, this is another sale price, new discounted opportunity. Item 1243025. 1243025. And check this out. Now they call this a amethyst stalagmite specimen. And sorry. You can see how they would call it like that. And this is the outside of it. And it has some really weird, unusual formations to it. I'm seeing if there is any other minerals inside it as well. This would be a fun one to, again, get magnification out and take a look all around it. I haven't checked it out. No telling what you can find in these pieces like this. But I love the form. I love the unique shape and form to it. And if you collect quartz or amethyst, that's a neat one to have. And also at a big discounted opportunity, I am going to offer that for as low as I can go, which is going to be, why not? Even if I have to lose a little, at least make it $68. That is definitely going to lose me some money, but that's okay. Lose money, gain a friend, right? Something like that. Now, next, if I let's offer a companion piece to that. Item 1243025. 1243025. Sometimes you got to lose a little to make a little. A fella I knew used to say that. Look at this. So here, let's compare for a moment. Here we have the amethyst. You can see the amethyst color. And now you have the smoky quartz. You can see there is a significant difference in the coloring. And this is from the same region, same area, and same similar type of formations that they call a stalagmite type formation. And it is different and unique. And this one, well, I tell you what, let's I do see some other mineralization in here. In a moment, I'll be spending all kinds of time looking at it, so I better move on. Now remember, this is natural color smoky quartz. Yeah, like what's in right there. A lot of smoky quartz, if it is so dark and so saturated that it is opaque, like opaque black, most likely it has been radiated, and it responds well, if that's the word you want to use, to radiation. Well, if it's too dark, too saturated, yeah, and too good to be true, then most likely it is. This is the real deal, natural smoky quartz, which is colored, is due to aluminum. Aluminum. All right, price on this, let's make it the same as the amethyst. Oh, yep, the item number, let's check that. 124 30 25. Oh, wait, I see that. Okay, hold on. Amethyst, I need the other item number. The other one, I think I gave you back the wrong. Did the other one say amethyst or did it say smoky quartz? Both had the same number? Uh-oh. Hold on one second. Smoky quartz. Oh, no. Okay, so this smoky quartz is 1243125. Good. Now we're on target. Great. There's a separate number for it. But the price will stay the same. We're matching prices. We're going to lose the same amount of money on both of them. So equal opportunity money loser. 128. Yeah, no, that's what it was. You are exactly right. It was $128. I wasn't going to say that. I wanted to realize how big of a discount. That's why I'm saying I am losing money. $68. So basically, you can almost get both of them for what one of them is. And believe me, it doesn't represent that I was trying to make a lot of money the first time around. That was me just, well, put it this way. Right now, it is me losing money. But, you know, I want you guys to get a deal and me to make room for some. I have a major collection that's going to be coming on down the line. Not sure when, but in the future, in the months to come. Let's just put it that way. And I need to make some room, and so we're doing that. Price on that one only $68. Great opportunity. All right. Now, item number 123824. 123824. Here is one that this little guy keeps trying to find a home, and maybe it's because you can't. It's so difficult to show the actual color green to this. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting a much more realistic green. I see. This is a fantastic Madagascar demantoid, and look at how huge and how fine of condition this single crystal is and how large it is. That is a look at that, and it is in excellent condition. When you can see that whole face, there's no chipped edges on that. Beautiful. You can see another color tone to it. And then let me bring in a little bit more lighting. There we go. There we go. Now, look at that. Look at the size of that crystal. And how, well, what great shape it is, especially for the size of it. And then down here, you actually have a little bit of a topazolite. It's a little darker in color tone, and thus given a different name. This material, this was mined along the, and I was selling this in the live show here at Gem Shopping prodigiously when they were pulling it out. I even had a fantastic picture of the mangrove swamp area where they were having to mine this. And Chuck, they were having to mine it in between the tides. So every time the tide came in, it would fill their mine pit back up, and then the tide would go out, and they would go back in, and they'd dig as much out as they could until the next tide came in. They eventually kept pushing back towards drier land, and then the deposit has since played out. It was a recent deposit, just like the Belkis Mountain, beautiful demantoids found in Iran only in 2013. Same thing, this deposit was found along the shoreline of a mangrove swamp. The picture I had that I showed, it looked like you had kicked an anthill, and but it was people, thousands of people spread across this area of the beach. It was like, I don't know, it made you have a couple different emotions. It made you feel for the artisanal miner that, you know, for their family, they would do whatever it took every day going out there to dig whatever specimens they could for whatever amount they could get, and then have to repeat it in, you know, tropical weather. Remember, this is um, Madagascar, an island off of East Africa in a tropical environment. If there's mangroves, and you know, that'd be a lot of work. That'd be a difficult. And what a weird and unusual geologic place. And it's real interesting. We won't get into that now because I said I was going to talk about the show of how they formed and where they formed and why in that particular place did these garnets, um, how are they created? And so, a great story. If you want it, look into it more and read about it, and you will find as much interest as you can hear in my voice about it. So, this being part of my garnet collection, my birthstone collection, this was actually, I actually have the year, mined in '09. Okay. That's exactly what I said back then when I was actually selling them at the same time they were still being mined. Price on this one, only $138, and that's the last bottom dollar price I can do on that, and that's been a huge discount from where I had started on it. Now let me show you also a super specimen, item 1190724. 1190724. Take a look, another green mineral, and this is a really a purdy one. And Morocco has some stunning minerals. And having traveled Morocco, I can attest to that because, of course, my Galena geode story is from Morocco. And so are some other stories, but that's for another day. All right, you can see these wonderful quartz crystals protruding from the epidome. Look at that. Now, there's also bisolite, and you'll remember this word because everyone's gonna laugh at me. The pistacite. See, what did I tell you? Predictable. Yes, it is. It is actually the yellow. It is actually how the word pistachio comes from. I don't know which came first, the rock or the pistachio, but it is this light color green that you see here is the pistacite, and the greenish yellow color that you see. Now, the epidotes, when you look at these crystal forms, they're beautiful crystals, really fantastic. And there's bisolite, which is really fine, small crystal threads you'll find when you explore this closer up. But I've shown this before. I'm so tempted. I want to zoom in and show you with my little loop and get it all out, but I'm going to let you do that at home. You can see this has great potential. I am going to bite my tongue, as I said I would, so I could show more items. I'm going to make this one only $38. It is a large specimen. Big bang for the buck. Take advantage of it. Okay, I'll be right back. This has been one that I have borderline been wanting to take back home, and this is its last opportunity for sale before I do. Look at this. This is from the Mysore district in the old days, and old days I mean like 20 years ago. You could get these crystals. You could find these crystals. You could find the spheres carved out of them. You can find animals carved out of them. Not anymore. Not anymore. This is an old stock material for one. 1,410 carats. It's beautifully fluorescent. So, you know, in a collection, that thing will glow like a stoplight. And then euhedral. Euhedral meaning just, look at this, just an excellent shape. Excellent shape. Classic hexagon. And then look at, you have the trigons on it. Look at these. See these triangles? Very desirable as a if you're a crystal collector to have those and to see those. Let's look on the other side. Look at those as well. Look at those as well. Then look at what I discovered on the side. Along the side of this, there are what I can only surmise as garnets. You also see, look at this neat little kind of etching in the side of the crystal. Very unique. And let me, these right here. Let's see. Let's go in and look just for fun, because that's what these little jobbies are there. When you catch the light on them, you can see a reddish glow to them. Wow, look at the color in that. And look at how they're tucked away in the little crevices of the ruby crystal. This is a breathtaking specimen. And the little hexagonal shape there, I'm not wondering. See, there's another one. If maybe there weren't other crystals that were growing alongside this one, just not necessarily connected. If you want one impressive piece, look at that. There's my radiation symbol right there. It looks like that. Look at how pretty that is. Look at how pretty that is. And impressive in a cabinet display for whether you're displaying corundum, whether you're displaying sapphire, whether you're displaying ruby. That could be any one of the three in that category. These are no longer inexpensive. Not that they ever, there's biotite mica on there, by the way. Not that they were ever really that inexpensive, but the price I'm offering that is. So anyway, we're doing the last opportunity chancing on this one, because it's one of those specimens I cannot get another of. And it's just way too cool to have a huge ruby or sapphire crystal that large. So here we go. I'm making it less than it's ever been, but it is the most or the least that it will ever be, which comes out to, I think, 17.5 cents a carat, $248. $248. And that is final price on that one. How can that not be worth? Go try to find another one. Right. Try to find another one. You know, it's just not out there. And then that well formed with the trigons, all the extra bonuses, you can tell. Oh, here's the other thing that's important. Let me see if it's in there. The word floater. If not, it doesn't have to be. My words alone, or anybody that even knows what a floater is, can spot it. So a floater crystal is a crystal that grows on its own without being attached to matrix or a wall or any other hard, solid body in the crevice, the vug, the cavity, wherever it's growing. So you can tell that this has not been attached. It hasn't been broken off from any other matrix body. So this, you can see the perfect, when you see the terminations, it's not a broken termination. It's not a cleaved termination. You can see when you see the trigons on each end that the crystal has terminated, ended here. You can tell from every side that it has not been attached to anything. So this crystal grew to this size on its own as what they call a floater, not attached. And that adds a great deal of value and collectability because it adds rarity and additional bragging rights for something this large that is a floater crystal. $248. And yeah, I think 17.5 cents a carat. That is a cool piece. Item number 1264125. 1264125. Now you guys were smart and you scooped up the other cabin sites that I had featured, and I have this one, which really, to me, was one of my favorites, and surprised that I have it still. We had talked about also how closely cavensite is to another mineral called pentagonite, and I'm going to leave it up to you guys to figure out which is which. But you can go with cavensite as a default because it is going to be more likely that it's cavensite than pentagonite. Look at some these crystals are stunning, and cavensite is, as I told you, mentioned before, one of my favorite mineral names because it makes the most sense. It stands exactly for what it's made up of: calcium, vanadium, and silicon. So much information when you think of what's in a name, and a lot in the case of cavensite versus these names that are named after, some person that was the head of a geology department, 100 years previously to, these kind of things. It doesn't give you real information. I like names with real information. Let's look a little closer at this guy. Let me put the light here and let's look at that. And then there we go. Look at those crystals. That is, can you imagine just Mother Nature doing all this? This is, let me see, get the light in another direction here. Oh, let me get my hand out of the way in front of the camera. Let me do it that way. I forget where the camera's coming from. There we go. Wow. There's something about that color. It reminds me of like copper sulfate, which is another beautiful color that you can actually grow crystals from. This is with wonderful still bites, little crystals of still bites in there, and look at how far back that. A lot of times, cavesite is just a little small cluster, but that is a nice long extended cluster, and this has been cobbed well. In other words, ground down well. You can see the other little cool pockets in it. Look at that. That's kind of cool. I even don't think I noticed that much before. You can actually see the cavensite back in there. Where is it? Yeah, okay. They're dropping down in there. Look at that. Okay, so anyway, a beautiful piece, especially today doing a 7/7 sale, July 7th, huh? This is a choice piece, and I'm making it 24 lonely only dollars on that. $24. Like I said, doing some serious sale pricing here. So I do hope all of you take advantage of it. Let's keep going. I have yeah, $24. $24. Let me see. What could this be? We are going to do some gemstones. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. All right, this is item number 124324. 124324. Now, look at this incredible grossular collection. And I actually had these cut from rough. So I actually had the rough grossular and had them what I could have had two choices: fancy cut or just regular cut. And of course, I had them fancy cut for more money. But boy, look at that! Look at that! That is beautiful. That is beautiful, and it's so neat to have items cut from rough when you're using a really good cutting house in Thailand at the time. That is almost a Leuco garnet You can see almost no color to that, which is really the rarest garnet, is the colorless garnet, Luco garnet. You just don't see many. I have had parcels. I've sold them here. You guys have wanted them before. Also, before you knew what they were, I offered them and no one bought them. And then I changed my mind and thought, well, okay, I'll keep it myself. So I ran across them the other day. I may end up selling a few of the colorless Luco garnets just because I want those of you that collect garnets to be able to have an opportunity at them as well. And I wouldn't have had if I didn't have the rough to cut them from. So to give you an idea, here is a parcel of some of the rough from way back on the on some of the Hessonite. So here you go. Here's some other rough I still have, and was going to offer for sale, but not so sure. You guys didn't want it before, and now my mind has a way of changing. I'm very much like our founder. He would Frank. He loved to collect items and hated to sell them. And that's bad for business, but at some point, of course, he could afford to do that, and had a stunning collection for that reason. This parcel is fluorescent and a fantastic representation of grossular garnet. Price on this, here we go. I'm going to do something special. 2.74 carat. So let's do this. I'm going to make that $78. Only $78 for all 4 pieces. All right. Let me put those up and I'll be right back. Check this color out. Check this color out, and why I have the words world class. Look at that. It almost looks like you could facet it. That's some of the finest nephrite I have seen. And maybe some little odd shapes to them, but so what? That's probably why I'm going to offer them at a really good deal. Probably why I got them in an estate buy or something like that. Hold on a second. Because I like doing custom pieces. So what better way to make something custom than start off with a stone that is not a normal shape? So, but really what catches my eye is the clarity, the quality. This is so translucent that it is, and the color. If look at that. Let me get the other tweezers. It is such a pleasing and attractive quality and color. Classic chromite in some of those. Wonderful. And then there's more. There's 3 other ones here that you can see. A little bit different quality. So I kind of kept those separate. These are the real jewels. And so if you want to use a piece of jade in something and want a really nice high quality piece without paying what an imperial jadeite piece would cost, this is the way to be able to really put the finest quality of nephrite into a piece and be able to afford it. Nephrite of this quality, if you had a piece that was, say, cut a bangle, it would, and they have 4 claims, close friends of mine that I've always gotten my British Columbian nephrite from, and nephrite in this quality has gotten really difficult to find, really rare, and so the way they kind of judge pricing is by a bangle, because of course it takes a larger piece to cut out a bangle. Yes, not all of it's wasted. The center portion is used, but it's kind of a like a reference price. So she said in nephrite, in a bangle quality of this kind of quality, you would be talking about a $20,000 to $30,000 their cost bangle. And but I can easily see that. I can easily see also how rare that quality would be. And so anyway, these you have 10 pieces total, and here is a for certain you should buy price. Making them for world class material like that, $28. I don't want to hear it, Latif. $28. That should assure that someone. And remember, you get those other three too. Should take advantage of those. If nothing else, remember they can be edu gems, stones that you have for reference pieces for quality. Because unless you have the best of something, how do you know what you have is, you don't. You have to have something relative to compare it to. And those would certainly fall in the line of some of the best for comparison. Now, item 117-1524. 117-1524. Let's see what this is. Sometimes they're wrapped up. I don't. Oh, yes. Okay. Here is an item that will. It's really beautiful in the coloring, including with the different limonite, the scattering of azurite crystals, malachite. And as we explore around, look at this. Look at that. It is okay, see these little botryoidal formations? You just can't look at the limonite and discard it, because it could be holding really neat treasures. Limonite being a iron oxide of mixed different types, often forming these botryoids that you see. Yeah, what is down in there? Do we have any light? Can we get in there? I see something. I know. Oh, there is. Look at that. There is a garden under the sea, which, you know, that looks like a reef. Look at back in there. Can you go back in there? You're in as far. Look at that. I don't think I've ever noticed that. That's pretty cool. Well, those are certainly some undamaged crystals back in there. And yeah, in that, wow, it looks like a cavern with the stalactites on the ceiling. And look at that. Yeah. That is very cool. There is. That is such a wonderful contrast of colors. If it was just that little cavern, it would be worth it. But all right, so we'll let it sit right there for a moment when I grab the paperwork and reveal the price opportunity of why not sale price this one. Yep, $12. I know, $12. This is a test. It's a test of well, it's a test to see just where everybody is at. If you're will, if there's some of you I can shake loose to buy, instead of just listening to the show for education, to make a purchase as well. And so when I offer opportunities like that, and if it doesn't get sold, then it tells me that you guys are a tough crowd out there, tough crowd indeed. And you know, if I knew I had the crowd, I would offer something that I changed my mind about selling, because look at this. I'm going to show you this insane chrysocolla. No one bought at the price of $16. Look at that. that is some high grade quality stuff. There may even be shadowkite in there and malachite. So what I'm saying is, at $16, if no one bought it, well, I can't make it any less than that. If you didn't buy it at $16, I'm not going to take airtime up to try to sell it for $14. When it's worth, 30, 40, $50 kind of thing. So, if you can keep the buys coming so I can keep the deals flowing your way. I have a cat's eye emerald that no one has gotten in on that is an opportunity, but I can't go any less than the last price I showed it for. So maybe I'll show it another day. Let me show you. I have next a item 1209324. 1209324. And this, one of my faves, are these clusters that are affordable, that have a lot of different minerals with them, and can be very educational for that reason. Look at this. I know. Look at how beautiful they are. You even have the lavender lepidolite, the lavender color lepidolite formations. Look at all the tourmaline in all different directions, and there's even a possible aquamarine on this. I had noted when I was doing some research on it before. Look at, yeah, look how beautiful that is with that pearlescent lepidolite and that mint color tourmaline in a cluster that displays wonderfully no matter look at that, which way you turn it. Like right there. Okay, so right there, that's a gorgeous, aesthetic, attractive specimen at that angle, just like that. Wonderful, wonderful piece. So, you guys have passed it up. We'll give it one more shot and let you take advantage of it, in most certainly. And $48. $48. A stunning specimen for that money, and very educational, so you can look at it closely and learn from the form that the lepidolite is in, and also see if you can't possibly find a potential aquamarine amongst that group of crystals as well. Now, item 1259425. 1259425. This is one of the finest specimen of that I have shown of rutile. And this is from the, of course, world renowned Graves Mountain. This is that beautiful metallic rutile that is so metallic and reflective that you can see red flashes coming from it. It is very educational piece. It has pyrophyllite, as some pronounce it, or pyrophyllite, as others pronounce it, on the piece, as well as turgite. Now, turgite is a iridescent oxidized iron oxide. So it can be goethite, which it most commonly is. It can be other forms of iron oxide. In other words, it can be hematite that's iridescent as well. Now, I had to look again where I had found the turgite on this before. But first, let me see if we can't go in and show you some of the red reflections. I see Yeah, let's go in. There's some beautiful, look at the red coming out of that. Which rutile, oftentimes it looks black, but most of the times it's actually a super dark red. So we're going to,
There's also that looks like it oils.
there we go. At iridescence, exactly, that's what I was going to show you. Let's see how close we can go in on the surface of this. Okay, so let me get my and I'm going to show you and see if we can't bring it out to you. There is iridescence.
Right in that curve.
Okay,
Over
more this way.
in that like yeah.
Right, yeah, there. I see that. Okay, so you see the beautiful red flash. Let me get the light oriented a little better here. And
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, look at that. And then look at the surface. Let me get this turned. The surface of the crystal. There you go. You see it to the left of the red. On that surface, there's actually iridescence.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yep. There's actual iridescence on there. And if you think it's something that scrapes off, I tried. It doesn't. It is bonded to the crystal. Now, let me show you also further back. Let me see. Turn this one to this corner right there. Let me see. Right in this corner. There it is. See that greenish? See that? That's an iridescent reflection off of the surface of. It almost looks like a chalcopyrite. You can also see a little red flash in there on this. So now let me keep looking because you can see red flashes, which is
in that left corner, top left corner, right by you, below your thumb.
right down here.
Bluish, right there. Yeah.
Oh,
To your left. Back forward, or like you go, nope.
This way. Let me.
Take it away. There you go, right there. Right by your thumb.
Oh.
Yeah, right there. Your finger is on it.
I saw it. So right there.
Yeah.
You guys got. Oh yes, I see it. I just saw it. Oh, I see it. Green. I see blue. Yep. There it is, right there. So that's what gives it the designation turgite. And there is. Let's see. Let's play around with this piece a little more because this is a really fine quality. There's some twinning. It looks like where two crystals share a common surface. This was actually dug by a friend of mine, and he hit some amazing material. And look at the reds in there. Look at that red. And this happens to be one of his better ones that he had left. Someone already made off with that large cabinet quality specimen. And wise choice on this. This is probably the nicest single crystal from the bunch. I'm looking, see those little surface things. I was looking at those, and they have, depending on the angle, look at, you can see iridescence on those. Mm-hmm. This is a crystal you can have so much fun with, and look at it for, look at the reds, a long time. And I am going, look at that. The reds are just everywhere. Look at that rutile piece. I am making this sale priced. So take advantage. Take advantage. It's a very expensive crystal in normally, but I am going to make it very affordable and offer it now for only $88. $88. So that, if you're ever tempted, that should help you make your mind up to grab something as unique as that, especially if you collect location minerals. Like, you should collect things from the Jeffrey mine or items from the Graves Mountain, because you have a lot of choices of different minerals only because of those deposits produced many different types of mineral specimens, and that's a pretty interesting way to collect them. What I just found, you just never know. I was wondering where that went to. I just found this. Who remembers what this little jewel was? Uh-huh. Yep, we can send Latif running with that one. That's the only one I have left. That, but we're not offering that for sale. I just happened to. It fell out of the aquamarine bag. I mean the tourmaline bag. I don't know how it got in there. Probably thinking it was a tourmaline, but remember that is that green zircon that has a wonderful little radiation signature to it that tells you exactly what it is, and it is a natural green zircon. So anyway, I don't have that one inventoried up. So because I was keeping that one. The other two that were inventoried, I think might have sold. So you got to get in on them when you can, or you miss out. Okay, like this. When's the last time you're going to get a chance at something like this? Item 1257525. 1257525. Shortwave fluorescence. If you've ever been interested in shortwave fluorescence, there's not too many things you can necessarily play with that have that, but this specimen does. And it also has palygorskite. If you don't have any palygorskite, 10 to 40% of this specimen will be palygorskite. It's a magnesium aluminum silicate, hydrated, and this also has cristobalite. That keeps coming back to us, doesn't it? That is that other form of quartz, and chalcedony. So this, look at this. This also, for those of you that might want to carve something, would be an excellent piece to use because it's soft, the opal parts, and it is real attractive, and you wind up with something special when it's done. Look at the neat little places here. This is where you have some of your cristobalite formations, just like you had on that calcite and amethyst specimen. You can find the cristobalite there as well. Then you can see the mixed minerals in the formation of this, and palygorskite is going to be a whitish color material that mixes and blends often in with the opal. Look at this neat little pocket there. This, we could check the fluorescence. That might be chalcedony. What's back in there? Probably something really cool. And then, oh, look at that. Yeah, this has all kinds of neat layers and formations in it. A wonderful specimen. And look at that botryoidal form there. You'll also, that could be chalcedony. There's also always, yeah, look at that. Watch for hyalite, which is a opal AN. They reference it, often can be fluorescent. This is a great piece for specimen that is getting harder and harder to get. There's a wonderful display side to it right there. And I am discounting this one considerably. Add it to your collection. I'm offering it for only $77. Only $77. Take advantage of it. Now, the next item I'm going to show you is probably going to be the maybe the deal of the show, but let me see. She gave me, oh, yep, there's an item number 1137823. 1137823. Now, let me, I don't want to dirty up that nice. Okay, so We shall move this. Take a look at what I am getting ready to show you. Look at this. Breathtaking. And I have not featured this piece in a long time. It went back home. And we have enjoyed it there. This is from, I love it, the four-man mine. And so, believe it or not, you get people asking, well, how many people does it take to work the four-man mine? Well, they probably say the less is better because it's more for us. Less we have to divide up. This is a well-known mine, the four-man mine, producing some stunning vanadinite, and vanadinite being a lead chlorovanadate, and with goethite. Now, here is, let me see, let me get a pointer. All right, this piece, as you can see, if we come in a little closer on it, has remarkable crystallization of these vanadinite crystals. Just really beautiful. And then as we turn this piece, I'm actually looking at a couple colors of vanadinite. They're also, you may want to check it for mimetite, can form with it and can be just a slightly different color. Here's the backside. Look at this. Look at these crystals. This piece, let me see. Here's the backside to it. And then look at, here's the goethite. If you were wondering where the goethite was hanging out at, here it is, back underneath it. And it's actually attractive. There's actually some other crystallization here, which could be, I don't know. I would say limonite, but the limonite normally doesn't really necessarily crystallize. I don't know. Let you guys do a little research on this piece. Look at this as we turn this back around. This is a large specimen. Great camera work there, Chuck, as we show you the whole piece, the whole size. There it is. There's the wonderful back part, which is a wonderful display side all by itself. Then this front side, this specimen is easily a $300 or $400 piece in every way. It is large. It's fantastic. It's from a great origin. And I said I was going to do something really, really, really crazy on it. If you have ever wanted a really nice vanadinite, here is your chance. You're not going to believe this. Let me see. I had to get the okay from the boss lady. Yeah. But she's gone at the moment, so maybe I can get it shown and put away before she comes back. Make this one only $138. $138. Well, I'm just going to show you because this is really the value we're talking about here. Here we go. Look at, here's the price right there. Minimum $358, maximum $388. That's the room I was supposed to be in, the area I was supposed to be in. So I have come in on this way low. That's why I said this may be the best deal of the show. So, but it's only the best deal of the show if someone takes advantage of it and makes it yours. All right, let me see how much time we have to work with. We're still going. Now, speaking of, let's look at item 125, 1925. 125, 1925. This is a relative of it. If you want to collect vanadinite and maybe not that specimen, look at this one. Wow. Small, but mighty. And it's not all that small. Especially the vanadinites aren't. Wonderful. Look at that with barite. With barite. Classic, beautiful barite. And let me see something else here. Okay, let's come in on, yeah. Look at that. I was looking. Look at how the stacked barites. You have vanadinites there. Oh, look at the big, large, gemmy crystals in that piece. That's what I was looking for right there. It looked like um, something was etched out, dissolved out, as can happen, making it even more unique. You also have sandwiching of colors. Look at that. There we go. We have a almost an unusual formation where it does look like something was dissolved or etched away. Then barite, stacked barite crystals formed in. That's one again where you get to get it home. You get to get the magnifier out and explore yourself. And especially for, again, I said this was going to be a crazy discount show, making that specimen $24. $24. So we're in the realm of, yeah, putting it on you to take advantage of these opportunities. And like I said, this is all about trying to make some headway and make some room for some items coming in the future. Item 126, 5625. This was the real shocker when no one bought these. Okay, go find more of these. Let me tell you what it would take to do that. It would take thousands of dollars worth of equipment, dozens and dozens of hours of time. I don't even know how many. These are large, what would be considered large in the nugget world. And I did not find these, but I do know where they came from, the Chestatee River, which is in Dahlonega, which, you know, we all know the Chestatee well. There is still gold in the Chestatee, and people are still pulling it out and mining it and finding it. Georgia gold is truly one of the highest alloys of pure gold, in the range of anywhere from 95 to 98% pure, relative to, let's say, a lot of California gold runs 90 to 95, and Alaskan gold, why it's such a more coppery color. If you see it in the gold shows on TV, it's because a lot of Alaskan gold run 80, 85% purity. So you definitely, especially at the day's gold prices, it makes a big difference in value. But you don't buy gold nuggets really relative to the value of the gold. They have a specimen value, just like a quartz crystal cluster. Do you buy it for the value of the quartz? You know, grind it up into the sand and have 10 cents of sand. I mean, so, or for the value of the silicon and quartz? No, it's the specimen and the rarity value is where they're. So gold being what it is, being more than what it was before. Price on this, no room to discount. It's like there's no room in the gold market, but I will offer them again for the same price I had them up for before, which was what? Do you have that, Latif? No. Well, let me see what we have here then. Wow. I probably had a real complicated formula for determining that last time. I tell you what, how many are there? There's 9. No, wait. Well, okay, here we go. $54. $54 for all of those. I mean, that's $6 a piece. Yeah. They are amazing jewelry quality. They're amazing educational quality for comparison, and they roughly match in size. That is so cool. Look at that. That is a beautiful display. If I found those myself, I would not take $540 for them. No, seriously though. If I, being gold, if I found something that size myself, there's the value becomes a lot greater because it is location, location, location. It's not the value or the weight of the gold. It's where they were found. It is the rarity of the location where they were found. There was a mint in Dahlonega at one time, pre-Civil War. That is how much rarity and how much the federal government thought of the gold in Georgia that they put a mint there so they didn't have to transport it and risk it being stolen on its way to the mints in Philadelphia or elsewhere in the Upper East. So they created a mint right in Dahlonega where they could most famously mint the $1 gold coin, which is truly made from Georgia gold. It's one of the most collectible coins and one of the most valuable against the weight of the gold. One of the biggest percentages greater. I would love to find a stash of $1 gold coins. Also, people could afford a $1 coin. A $20 gold piece would be almost equivalent to a month's wages, which on average in the mid 1800s ranged from about $1 a day. So if you were sheriff, you got about $50 a month. That's the relative value. So a $20 gold piece, was a huge amount of money. Almost a month's worth of income. You don't find those. Those were treasured. They were kept up with. But little $1 gold coins, even the poorest people could have one of those. That's what I'm hunting for. That's what I want to find. Or the nuggets that you see before you, and I would be jumping up and down to be finding those, but they're still out there. I have the equipment. I just need the time. So anyway, take advantage, grab those, because still, what it takes to bring those to you is a huge amount of effort on someone's part and expensive dredging equipment. So, okay. Let me have one moment and I'll be right back. Okay, here we are. All right, this was another one that we were all kind of talking about that we were surprised no one took advantage of this parcel of sapphires. And there is some real jewels in here. If you are do anything with making jewelry or replacing gemstones or just want to collect one of the three kings, ruby, sapphire, emerald. Here you go. All right, there's the stone. See that beautiful blue, and see the thickness to it, even, and the color. That one stone, these other two aren't too shabby, is going to be worth what I am sale pricing now this entire parcel for. Look at this odd. Oh, that's pretty great. There's an odd shape. That one, that diamond shaped one. Cool. Okay, so this whole parcel, here we go. Maybe you'll like 11 carats, 20, whatever, 6 stones. Oh boy, Latif is going to shoot me. Here we go. $48. I know, $48. This is a test of how dumb Shawn can be. Next item, item 1267425. 1267425. Yeah, okay. It's another parcel of sapphires. You're gonna get another chance to be able to get a quarter for a nickel, something like that. Because let's see what we have. Look at how large that sapphire is. Nice big cut. If you're a cutter, you can cut that belly down and probably get a lot more light out of it. But let me show you. Let's look at the color that's actually in this sapphire. Look at that. So it is a matter of cutting to be able to reduce the saturation and greatly improve color tone. When they cut like that, they're cut for weight, so that because their stones are sold by weight. So why cut away the price per carat, your value? And that's how they look at it. They don't look at it as creating a brighter or better stone. I love that little emerald cut right there. That's, look at that. That's a fantastic little jewel. Look at this. And then, wow, look at the blue in that though. Wow. Oh, Lou, look at that one. And then look at this little bicolor one. Wow, look at those colors. Let me chase that one. Look at that one. Okay, so I'm looking at the value there. Don't have to go any further. There is 9 carats, 20 stones. So a little bit less carat weight than the one that was $48. So let's see. We had, yeah, that was goodness, 9 carats and 20 stones. So average of a little bit bigger. Make it the same price, $48. $48 for all of those sapphires. How, don't ask me how I can offer them or why I would offer them that low, but it only matters if you take advantage of them at that price. And for the price per carat, when you do that math, it would be really difficult to not purchase them if I was on your end looking for a deal. Item 122 5824. 122 5824. Let me show you. Let's see. There's only a couple of these treasures I have left, and this is the amazing belemnite fossils. Incredible opalized. Look at that opalized. And so these were a member of the cephalopod family, and they were like squid or orthocerasus. They had little tentacles that came out of this end of them. The inside, a portion of them was the gut, so to speak, and would often leave an empty cavity, or there'd be silica that would fill in. And this is, in the world of belemnites, one of the really nice quality, gem quality fossil pieces of all of them. Look at that color. This is something you just don't see, because this is a crystal opal with stunning colors, including the reds in it, of a fossil piece. This is a real treasure. If you wanted, it could be cut into just a cabochon, but no one would know it would be a fossil. In this form, it's recognizable to anybody in the know that it's a belemnite, and that it's a special belemnite due to the extensive, brilliant play of color that's in them. A lot of them, they're found with no color and even opaque, or with just too much of the sand material in them. This is not, that's gorgeous. We're just going to leave that there for a moment. And I'm going to put up these sapphires as I contemplate. I already made this a ridiculous opportunity, but it is 4th of July weekend, and I said I was going to be doing some amazing deals. So I just don't know how amazing. So this weight on that is 25 carats. Goodness. I don't know what I even priced this for before, but I'm going to make that one only $158. How far did I miss the mark? I was afraid. Did I go like over $200 less?
No, not that.
Not quite that much.
No. 258.
Okay. Okay. So almost $100 discount from the last time I priced that. Wow. All right. Well, at that price, if it doesn't sell at that price, that one's and Raven will definitely let me know. That one's coming back home. So make sure if it doesn't sell, yeah, this particular belemnite.
Are you selling more than one?
No, that's the only one I'm going to show today. But if it doesn't sell in this show, it comes back home at that price. I didn't know. I didn't have a reference. I didn't know where to go with the price. Latif didn't help me out, causing me to say my first bad word on air in 17 years. Uriel, save me, man. Fix me up. Cut that out. Item number 1267325. 1267325. Now, before, when I showed 3 greenstones as tourmalines, got the price down to $38 for all 3. They turned out to be green zircons worth many, many times that. Well, here is your first chance at the August birthstone coming up, peridot. And here is 3 fantastic stones. Not, look at that, not sure of origin. Look at that pear shape. That's a cut you do not often see. That almost looks like a sphinx. You know why? Because they're both very doubly refracted. And so it kind of gives it that same soft glow to them. But these, for the peridot world, are very clean. Peridot often and acceptably has inclusions in them. But remember, also a quick way to tell if you have a peridot or not. Boom. That's what it should do. Every one of them should have a magnetic attraction. Get those magnets. You will benefit greatly by them. All right. I had them last time for $6 a carat. You guys didn't want them for that at $38. Make them $28 for all 3. $28. That's what I said. The price does not reflect the actual value of these. The price is just me making room for some future items coming up. All right, we still have just about 5 minutes with you. So let me, this one. Item number 125-5125. 125-5125. Take a look. Take a look. Isn't this neat? Look how beautiful Mother Nature is, and the colors. Yeah, and the colors. All completely natural colors. The peridot natural. Look at that beauty. All right, peridot has to go. But I always love comparing the colors like that. All right, how come that gem has not found a home? If you have any spinels and you want a representative specimen of the crystal, or just want a really good deal on an educational piece, because you can look at fluorescence on that. It's going to be gorgeous. The etching, the crystal shape, and you can always use it for a hardness specimen as well. So this is ridiculous, because for you, no one to have bought that at $38, really? Okay, $28 it is. You know, why not? If you're gonna lose big. And yeah. Now, I have a silver box. We all were talking about this silver box. No one bought the silver box. We don't know why no one bought the silver box. It's the coolest silver box for the money, and especially at what silver has gone up for. No, I'm not going to show the silver box. Forget it. Okay. And the fish with that beautiful sapphire in the middle of it. If anybody wants it, I'm just going to tell you, you've seen the fish before. It has the hexagonal blue crystal of sapphire in the middle of the fish. That's item, we don't have to pull it up though. Item 124-5425. 124-5425. If you remember that amazing tropical carved fish, it's still available. Okay. My goodness. Item 126-6025. 126-6025. This is a specimen that everyone should have, because a lot of times you are going to have this on your specimen and don't recognize it or know what it is. Cerussite. Cerussite. Yeah, it is the lead carbonate. It's a wonderful, beautiful specimen, and the crystals, though, can be kind of tricky to recognize. They, in this particular specimen, fluoresce. So if you collect fluorescence, it's stunning. And it has wonderful barytes on this as well. Yeah, look at that. Look at the pink barytes. Look at the shape of the crystals. For a cerussite, this is stunning. Look at those barytes in between it. And I don't, I'm not one of those that are going to guilt anybody into buying something or question why no one does. But on this one, I was kind of shocked that no one had. All right, well, we'll give it one more try, because I would just, That one is getting ready to go home too. $38. $38. That one gets the F next to it for final. Meaning after that, then we because again, remember many of these things. Well, as you see, that one came from our personal collection, and so it's sometimes a fight to even offer it, and it's much easier to change your mind and take it back home. Okay, what looks like the last item of the show. This will be item 1254825. 1254825. Last item of the show because it's probably the least item I want to sell, but for all of you, probably one of the best values for you to buy. And it is this stunning Rosa Light, which is the pink gooseberry color variety of grossular garnet. We've learned about grossular garnet. We talked about grossular garnet. We started the show with grossular garnet. Those wonderful Tanzanian stones. This is stunning. You have the dodecahedrons. Then you have Vesuvianites. And these are beautiful fluorescent Vesuvianites on this. Look at all the crystals. And look at how well formed these. Look at that. Look at that Vesuvianite. Look at how perfect the crystallization is. Look at the dodecahedron of the how grossular got its name was by the Latin name for gooseberries, which is grossular or something or another. I don't Latin. I don't have, but it's grossulum, blah 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 something. And basically, the first word is is how they got this name. The grossular got its name, but most grossular, very rarely do you actually see this color. Look at these formations. Look at how well defined these crystals are. Look at how many of them are kind of held loosely together by this Gaussian type matrix material. Almost every bit of this. Let's go right up here. Look at that. Look at how well defined that Vesuvianite is, and they fluoresce wonderfully. Look at this is striking. And it's a specimen that most of you will not have. And if you have it, you do not have it with this kind of, look at that, on every side, with this kind of quality of both of them, the Vesuvianite crystals, and look at that, the beautiful, that one almost looks twinned. Huh. Yeah. Wonderful. Look at that. So we'll just kind of leave it on that face right there. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. And price on this, I made it a fantastic deal. This is something really hard to find, hard to get in this quality. That's what's important. So here's my hand. Look at the size of that. And then look at the size of the crystals. And then look at, they're all the way around. All the way around. Price on this, last and final opportunity, $288. $288 on that. Final price. I'll be back to say goodbye in just a moment. Did you have as much fun as I did? I did, except embarrassingly, Uriel, he's our editor, is going to have to edit out the first bad word I have said ever in 17 years of doing this. Can't be my fault, right? I'm a professional, right? It has to be Latif's fault. When he told me what I had actually, the last price I had on that item, and what the price I had and the difference, well, sometimes emotions just can't be held back, Luckily, we have an editor. And that'll be the first time ever I will have to have been edited. So, if you want some deals, today's show, they're there for you. And I enjoy sharing all of this with all of you, no matter the cost. Knowledge is something that should be shared. And if I can help any of you along that path, that's great. And I can learn back from you, as I have in many cases. So I hope all of you have had a wonderful 4th of July. And on 7/7 today, a wonderful Monday, watching the show, scooping up those deals, and creating room for what I know is to come. Not sure quite when, but it's coming. Treasures galore. So keep watching the show. I appreciate all of your support. Like and subscribe to the show. Keep us here. We've been here 8 years. Remember, you can order anytime, 24/7. This entire operations Gem Shopping Network, this little studio corner part I have, we never close. Never close. Except one day of the year, Christmas. And so middle of the night, you wake up, you just want to put yourself back to sleep by watching someone talk about rocks, put on one of the shows. There's many archive shows. Write down the item numbers. If you call and the sales rep says, I don't see where that's available, it doesn't mean that it's sold. It means it's just not in the system at the moment. In other words, items from a show I would have shown like 4 weeks ago, they would have been in for probably about 2 weeks available, maybe sometimes 3. After that, we close out what we call the memo to the show. So those items that haven't sold are returned to me and they're taken back out of the system. So it doesn't mean they're necessarily sold. It's just that they're not available in the system at the time. But I may have them right in my office. So don't be discouraged. Write the numbers down. Ask customer service or the sales rep if they can check on availability outside the what their system is showing. So that's the way you make things happen for yourself and get the piece you want at the deals that you want as well. Okay, again, thank you all, and let's get through this summer. When I think about it, it's already July 4th in Georgia. We only have 8 more months of summer. It feels that way sometimes, the unending summer. Yeah. But a lot of you up north, you got a little taste of what a Georgia summer day feels like every day. And yeah, air conditioner is my friend all summer long. God bless all of you. Stay safe, and I will look forward to seeing you next Monday. Cheers.